and I just she and I just connected at a very deep level. It's like we've known each other all our lives. I love her. She is incredible. But more importantly, she is a wealth of knowledge and actually has written many books, one of them very specific to our company and our products. And I'm going to let her talk about that. Mary Esther has been teaching and mentoring for over 40 years. She is a nutritional physiologist and a sports nutritionist. She has 2 or 3 degrees. She comes from Phoenix, Arizona area. She's absolutely incredible. I want you all to give it up in the chat or unmute for a second if you can, and give it up for my wonderful friend, a very wonderful leader in teaching us all about air tonight, Mary Esther Gilbert. So yay, Mary Esther! Woo-hoo! Come on up.
Hi, girlfriend, how are you doing in your trip?
We got here finally. We ran into some traffic and all kinds of things, driving all the way across country. But God was with us. We had no mishaps. It went wonderfully. I love having a kitchen and a bathroom anytime you need it, anywhere you need it. It's
Right.
wonderful. So I can't wait to see you. And when I was thinking about what we were going to talk about tonight, I thought this couldn't be a more perfect month to talk about this product. With all the information that's been coming out about what's been going on lately in the last couple of years, and us going now into fall. Can you believe it? It's fall already almost. My goodness. This product is, I think, a tool that everybody has to have in their bathroom, a kitchen, or purse all winter long, if not all year long. Am I correct in that?
You are absolutely right. And I cannot wait to share what I've come up with all of these ingredients. They're new ingredients. And so I had so much fun diving into the research and putting it all together for everyone tonight. We're going to get a little bit more technical than usual because these botanicals are so amazing. You're all going to love it. And I think it pairs really well with PFT, by the way. And you'll see by the end of today what I mean.
Well, I am always blown away, and you know that. I have done my research on these products, and the background that I have, I kind of understand a lot of it. But I learned something new, and I know Julia's going to shake her head, and Dixie, and probably Sherry, and everybody else. I learned something new about our products every month that we do this. So let's just kick it off with a bang tonight. Why is the product called AIR? AIR.
All right, that is such a great question. I love it. Let's get into it. Okay, so it has to do with the respiratory system, of course. We all kind of knew it from the name of the product. And basically, it keeps all the body systems free flowing. There's a lot of things that disrupt and interfere with this energetic free flow that occurs within the body. So we need proper oxygenation and, of course, nutrient delivery. And we cannot have anything that gets in the way. So when cells get damaged, then there's a lot of things that pop up, that the stress chemicals the body makes. And also, of course, the body rushes in to repair any injuries, even at the microcell level. So all that continues to produce inflammatory reactions. So what I love about the AIR botanicals is that we have the most potent botanicals. Their phytonutrient compounds are so potent that they have been actually shown, they're very well known in the scientific community, these biochemical compounds that are in these botanicals to maintain the strong immune system so that it can go in and take care of business and reduce the inflammation and do the repair work, and also just protect the body's cells from controlling all that inflammation response. And that's associated with our scavenging free radicals that the body actually produces under stress reactions. And also in a prolonged setting, that will damage the cells and the tissues and just disrupt all the vital functions. So we want to keep the system clear and circulating and nourishing and minimizing the stress reactions. So that's what AIR is all about. I think you are no
I did. I
volume.
muted myself so that we had a very clean recording. I
Okay.
am very excited about this product for a lot of reasons, but let's start by asking you to please describe or provide us with an overview of what the functional benefits of air are for people, whether they have an issue with breathing or not.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the vast array of phytochemical compounds. Now, we thought, there were a lot of phytonutrients in all of the drops, but they are super concentrated in these botanicals. I was shocked. I was overwhelmed putting this together. But anyway, we have a vast array of phytochemical compounds, and they all act synergistically to support the immune system's detection systems. Now, that's very important to maintain a smart immune system so that it stays on top of any inflammatory reaction, and so it can attenuate the inflammation and do the repair work before any more damage is done. So that's what these phytochemicals do in these plants. So they prevent and halt various types of illness-causing microbials like bacteria and viruses and whatnot. It stops their growth and proliferation, and also these compounds will readily help attack and destroy microbials that make us ill. They help stop the inflammatory responses that the body is very good at. Once it detects something is wrong, then it issues all of these inflammatory proteins to alert all the systems to come in and fix the problem. And this does it by maintaining a higher level of antioxidants. All of these phytochemicals are super antioxidants to help keep the damaging free radicals in check. Now, I know we've talked about free radicals before, but as we proceed through this meeting, you'll learn what free radicals exactly are. I don't think we ever have really delved into just explaining exactly what that is. So I'd like to do a little deep dive on that tonight. But also more of the functional benefits of these ingredients. So we've got all these toxins exogenous to the body, right? Outside of the body that we absorb and we ingest or we inhale, all these toxic synthetic chemicals in the air and whatnot, right? And so, we find them everywhere. They're in our food, they're in our crops, they're in the water. We even have toxic side effects of medications, alcohol, tobacco, you name it. We're exposed to it every day. And so our body's constantly in a state of reacting to all these stressors. And also, we have to realize that they're neutralizing all these endogenous stress chemicals that we produce ourselves in the body, just in normal, metabolic processes. They're just naturally formed. And also, when we're under mental and emotional stress, we have those reactions that produce the biochemicals. And of course, we know that over time, then that can cause a lot of health issues also. So it's all about those free radicals, right? And then ultimately, we've got the botanical constituents that cleanse and restore the body's ecology. And of course, we already know that about the drops. They go in and they detox and they restore biochemical balance so that we can properly and efficiently control any inflammatory responses. And that's what we are going to love about air.
Now, if I hear you right, you're saying that air, for all intensive purposes, is an anti-inflammatory, along with has a lot of other benefits. So, can you kind of go into when somebody has a reaction, whether it's allergies or some kind of COPD or inflammation in the lungs from getting sick or getting, something that a bug, how that works in relation to air?
Okay, so like I said, we're exposed to all of these toxins every day and all of these stressors that, we can't help responding to. And so that changes the biochemistry in the body, and the biochemical compounds in this formula actually contain, and they're very well known in the scientific community. There's so much scientific evidence. And I definitely have posted all of the science behind all of this. And you'll be able to see this in this PDF document. So yeah, I mean, this is what the company has focused on. Someone has done their scientific homework. It's always so impressive to see how well these formulas are put together. And so I provide all the references so that I hope people can go in and see exactly how much more these botanicals do. Of course, we are limited in time, and so I can only summarize greatly, like I said before, the tip of the tip of the tip of the iceberg kind of thing. But I'm also tonight providing the the scientific monographs, as you have seen in the books, the book that I produced. And so since they are not in the book, the two newest products are not in the book. But so I have went ahead and produced the monographs so that people can get all the detailed information and all the science behind every single one of these botanicals. I don't know if I answered your question.
Well, I want to take it a step further because when someone gets sick, and I know, just as an example, that my kids had some horrific accidents when they were younger, and I was under a lot of stress, and I ended up having a pulmonary embolism. So that puts my lungs in danger for the rest of my life of not only another PE, but when I get sick, which isn't very often, everything settles in my lungs. And that is caused by inflammation in a lot of cases. What makes you not be able to breathe? It's not just the stuffiness, it's the inflammation in the lungs. The air can't get in there. Now, how does air and the ingredients in air interact with that to allow your lungs to start expanding and getting that oxygen? And as an add-on to that, how is the heart brought in and the cardiovascular system brought into what happens when the respiratory system isn't working right, if that question makes sense?
Oh, absolutely does. Yes. Okay. So we're dealing with repairing and maintaining our genetic code of instructions. Once the body undergoes severe trauma like your body did, then it has a memory. Okay, but it can be corrected. That memory can be disentangled and rearranged so that things function absolutely smoothly. Like I said, this is a flowing, we have to maintain the flow of our body and the flow of our systems, the circulatory system, delivery of oxygen and nutrients, so that everything can maintain its repairing status and homeostasis at all times. So right now, I want to show you the connection between the heart and cardiovascular health and how that's connected to the respiratory system and answer to your questions. So if I may share.
You surely may.
All righty, so let's see here. Okay, let me bring that document back up again. All right, so you should be able to see the two diagrams here of the cardiovascular system.
Yep.
All right, so let me go ahead and enlarge it so that we can see it better, so I can see it better. Okay, so on the left, you see how it's a very simple diagram, but it's so well illustrated that you've got the systemic arteries and the systemic veins. And so when we take in air through the lungs, as shown over here, of course, it goes down the trachea and into the lungs and into the bronchioles and on into the network of smaller and smaller, bronchioles. Whereas at the very end, we have the exchange of oxygen and CO2. So we breathe in oxygen and we exhale the gases left over, which is the carbon dioxide. And so it's all happening at this micro scale. And this is just a blow up of the very end of the small capillaries at the end of the bronchioles. But as you see here, these more major arteries are connected directly to the heart. So that's why in this diagram on the left, it shows the heart in the middle. And all of these, of course, we have to assume that these are this is the whole circulatory system that goes throughout the whole entire body, not just the lungs, right? So, I mean, it goes everywhere. And so as we breathe in, and so we take in oxygen, and then at those alveoli, we are exchanging gases, and then we exhale the CO2. So that's why the red here is the okay, we've got the systemic arteries in red and the systemic veins. Okay, so that's how it always is. Blue veins indicates lack of oxygen and red indicates oxygenated rich blood. All right, so it's constantly circulating, constantly going through the heart. The heart keeps pumping and it in turn pumps out more oxygenated, blood. And so it just keeps going like a regular system over and over and over again. So that's the connection. Our lungs are directly connected to our hearts, and together those things will distribute all the oxygen and all the nutrients throughout the whole entire body. And it's so critical to make sure that these two systems are clear. All the airways are cleared, all the capillaries and the blood vessels. Make sure that these are all clear. The heart can keep pumping without any obstructions, heaven forbid. So Yeah, I mean, I think I was going to read this to you guys, but I think I already said it all. Let me go ahead and make sure I did not miss anything. So yeah, I mean, this is more formally written, but so yeah, like I just said, I'm reading through this quickly and you can kind of read it along with me. So any kind of damage that's detected by the hormonal system, that's the monitoring, regulating system, and it communicates with the nervous system. So it activates this cascade of inflammatory reactions by the immune system. The immune cells come in and they start, destroying or just doing their thing and making sure that there are no infections and whatever is being damaged even at the cell level or the blood vessels, there could be maybe clots forming or something dangerous like that. So the immune system is there to just dissipate all of that. So it all works together. So all of this has to do with if anything goes wrong, it has to do with nutrient deficiencies. It always gets back down to nutrient deficiencies, which cause inflammatory reactions. And so that's what free radicals are, these proteins that come in and react to the damage. And so it's just detection. It's always detection and always communicating with the entire system to make the repairs, right? So yeah, that's pretty much it, in
Well,
a
that
nutshell.
brought up some more questions. So
Okay, good.
scroll back down a little bit again to that paragraph, the last one, where it says phytochemical antioxidant compounds in air are known to limit and prevent many inflammatory reactions by helping to repair tissue damage and restore proper cell functioning. I find that, I don't know about the rest of you, but I find that very intriguing because what just went through my mind is that air can actually be a preventative in some manners. Am I reading that correctly?
Absolutely, because now you've got the biochemicals that assist the detection systems in the body to do the repair work before it gets worse. So, our bodies, like I said, at the micro scale, we've got inflammatory reactions going on all the time in response to our environment, both outer and inner. And so, if we have a lot of these phytochemical nutrients that are in this product, then they act on their own too. The body doesn't have to direct every single phytochemical compound. They go in and the DNA recognizes it, allows them to do their thing, and they help the inflammation, right? They help attenuate it and they help repair. That's the main key. If you're going to have the tissue repaired and therefore restoring the proper cell functioning, then there's no inflammation, right? So that's the key there.
Interesting, which brings up another point. I know you're a runner, and we all know that exercise is good for us, but over any exercise and over exercise puts a stressor on the body, just like anything else in life. Am I thinking correctly when I say that this could actually help people breathe through or have a better respiratory response when going to go work out or going to go on a run, or after a workout or after a run when the body is now in a stress position?
Yes, 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 and yes.
Wow.
Okay, so let's go over just a few, maybe not a lot of them, maybe three or four of the botanicals that I
Wow.
want to point out that will answer that question directly. Okay, so let's go to, say, the dog rose. Okay, so I mean, it's got all these polyphenolic compounds, phenolic acids, flavonoid compounds. These terms are bandied about all over the place, but if you research them individually or go to my book where I define them, then you'll see that these are extremely beneficial. Okay, so they've been shown to have all these antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, chemopreventive. That's another very foreign inflammatory substance that's
Say that again. Which
uh,
ingredient?
when someone goes through chemotherapy, chemotherapy, then the side effects are horrendous. They're very
Yes.
toxic. Okay,
Yes.
so this and other botanicals in the formula and in other formulations will help attenuate and reduce the free radicals, the scavenging molecules that are just patrolling and circulating around looking for electrons in perfectly healthy cells. And so, it can even make the situation worse if you're not nourished. So that's what one of the things that the dog rose has been found to help prevent some of those terrible side effects from that kind of treatment. And also, it's anti-mutagenic. So if your cells are not replicating properly, if there's all these inflammatory reactions, then your DNA is going to be damaged. Your cells will not be replicating optimally and they will not function optimally. And if they keep replicating wrong with the wrong DNA information, then it can lead to the, carcinogens, right? So, I mean, this is what the science shows. And these are peer-reviewed studies, and there's an overwhelming amount of science behind what I'm saying here tonight. I always have to back ourselves up with the science, of course. All right, so it's also blocks pain effectively, anti-ulcerogenic, which means they're repairing the tissues in the stomach, anti-proliferative properties, just preventing a lot of the bacterial and virus infections from multiplying and getting to the point where they cause some major health problems. Okay, and it's
Oh
also
my
been
gosh.
okay, so it's also been tested against bacteria, like the well-known ones, like the staph, right, and the strep, and the E. coli, and the Pseudomonas. So these have been tested very, very effectively, and it's these compounds that are in this plant that will actually reduce all of these problems. And then we've got the amla berry, so it has its own set of polyphenols. Now, I'll scroll down in a minute to show you the huge
Did you know you
classifications.
stopped screen share? People are asking.
Yes. Do you want me to
Okay.
show what I'm
A
reading off
couple
of?
people are asking if you could still
Okay.
share screen.
Okay,
Everybody's so
great.
interested in this. It's just nuts.
Yeah, I never know if I should do that or not. It's better than looking at my face.
No, we love looking at your
Okay.
face, but for us nerds that like to see the diagrams.
I love it. I'm a nerd too. I'm very much a nerd. All right. So now the almond berry fruit has got all these wonderful qualifications. Now look what I highlighted in yellow. These are the phytochemical compounds. Some of them are the major classifications. Some of them are the sub-classifications, the anti-inflammatory, cardioprotective. So, these are, and notice how they're in different combinations than in other plants. They might have some of the same, but in the synergistic way, they form a more holistic, more powerful, kind of synergy that act on the body in different ways. So the body knows exactly what to pull and what to use to repair, attenuate inflammation and things like that. And then I wanted to I'll jump over to the, I wanted to show you this respiratory system later. I think I already did. I'm not sure. We'll go back to it. All right. So I love the way you jump around on these calls because it activates me, it triggers me so that I can share even more information that I didn't even think of even when I was putting together these things in detail. All right, so the amla berry fruit, I think I mentioned that already. Oh, here's some
Yep.
more. All right, so as far as protecting you from oxidative damage. Now, I want to explain what oxidation and oxidative damage and also known as free radicals in a minute. But I'll let you ask some questions and maybe that'll bring it out. If not, I'll bring it up later. So the amla berry fruit, okay, so it limits how the body forms what are called reactive oxygen species. And these are free radicals that the body produces under stress, whether it's chemical or emotional, mental kind of stress chemicals. And it prevents the damage that the free radicals in the body will do. Okay, like oxidative damage means whenever there's an oxygen reaction in the body, then there is some oxidation going on, meaning that it's losing electrons and cells are being damaged. Lipid peroxidation also happens when you take in the dietary fats. They are so reactive with oxygen that it can render them as free radicals too. So we have to make sure that we're always taking these antioxidants in the diet so that these fats will not become, peroxidized or rancid in layperson's terms. Okay, so then it also has all these defenses that the body makes. So we've got the glutathione, GSH, enzymes, catalase, CAT, GSH reductase, another enzyme, glutathione peroxidase, another wonderful enzyme, and superoxide dismutase. Okay, so sometimes people get these abbreviations mixed up with the free radicals, but these are the antioxidant defenses that the body actually makes. What are these? These are protein. So that's why maintaining a diet in high quality proteins is equally important to maintain a diet that is high in the botanicals.
Okay, so I want to, don't move, scroll back down, because I always get, and I know other people get questions about glutathione.
Yeah.
Can you go into a little bit more depth here? Is air helping activate our body's glutathione? And we know all plants have to have glutathione to grow and live and thrive. So all of our lozenges have that DNA for the glutathione in them. Can you just talk a few seconds on how that in air mobilizes that glutathione in our body?
I don't know, Ruth, really fast? Okay, I'll try. I will try. Okay, so glutathione is made in the body, and it's not easily absorbed in a supplement. It automatically makes it. If your diet is high in the essential amino acids, quality animal-derived proteins, you're taking in plenty of botanicals that have all these wonderful, phytochemical compounds that are antioxidants, then your body will make all of these wonderful, antioxidants. So you have to be well nourished in order for the immune system to allow enough time left over from all of the other jobs it has to do, to protect your health so that you can make these antioxidants. And yes, our bodies will make these from the molecules from these phytochemical compounds. And the amla berry fruit is one of them. Yeah.
That just opened a whole new door for me, because I get asked all the time about glutathione, because there's people out there throwing that name around. And what I love what you said is it's very hard for the body to absorb a lot of the glutathione that's on the market because of a lot of reasons, the molecular size and just all kinds of things, digestive process and everything else. That blows my mind. So let's move on, because we are just going to run out of time. You and I always run out of time. It's like we could talk for 2 hours just on the glutathione aspect.
I know.
Some other people on this call are jumping up and down right now too. So do air's nutrients then, and the factors in those nutrients, help provide us on a daily basis, just in our everyday lives, with more energy, more stamina? Obviously, it's going to help with the breathing aspect, especially for those of us that have been on PFT. I know you started out saying it's going to help with PFT, and some of that I would garner comes from we're getting more exercise. Our lungs are getting exercise because we're building them up because we're doing more. Am I on the right train of thought there?
Yes, let's go to the maca root, okay? Talk about endurance and exercise. Remind me to go back to item number 7. I really want to point out some of these free radicals, and I want to explain what the oxidative stress process is, okay? All right, so, and by the way, here is, I'll just go back to number 7 later. All right, so maca root. I've been using maca root for decades. When I first discovered it, I was jazzed. It helped my workouts, and it helped when I was young. I had, the women's cycle was corrected. I mean, it has everything in it. Okay, so, and there's so much science. It was so overwhelming. But thank goodness for the Peruvians. They've done their homework on the maca root. It's on their home turf, and this plant doesn't grow just anywhere. It grows in the highest altitudes where everything else doesn't grow. It's just an amazing food. So it's got all these plant sterols, which are the precursors for the hormones, even the hormones that your body produces when you're working out. The weight resistance exercises, the endurance exercises, all of those, the body requires hormones production, for energy production, and just maintaining the whole system, the bones and the muscles and the connective tissues, all of that. So it's got a whole array of these plant sterols. It's got the fatty acids that are also important for the nervous system and muscle contractions and everything, and other compounds that are energizing. They help these cells produce energy. They help raise the metabolic functions, which means even when you're at rest, you're burning more calories if you're exercising all the time. And so, it helps raise the metabolic functions, fertility enhancing, and it contains all these sexual functioning properties as well. So it acts on the hormones. Okay, they've done a lot of studies in humans, but I thought this one on rodents was more kind of interesting. It actually increased the sperm count, and sperm motility, was an anti-stress. I know that they subject rodents to stress tests, and prevent prostatic hyperplasia. A lot of men have this problem. And reversed osteoporosis, showed nerve protective effects, protection against the UV radiation. It just goes on and on. You guys can read on, you can have access to this document later, but and also acts on the body fat as well. So it helps produce a lower body mass index, less body fat, lowers blood pressure to normal levels, maintains normal liver and kidney functions, and all these different blood lipid profiles and normal blood sugar levels, and then some. And like I said, this is just touching just ever so slightly on what these plants can do. So I hope you look at the monograph.
Now,
also,
before you move on that one,
yeah,
maca is hard for the body to absorb in powder form, I have read. And there's some contradictory information out there, so you kind of have to sort through it. But our lozenges, because they have the maca DNA in them, are going to be absorbed 100% right into our cells immediately. We don't have to wonder if we're absorbing enough to do the job, correct?
absolutely. So if you were to go up to the Peruvian mountains and pick yourself some maca root and sit down and eat it right then and there, you'd have the active enzymes and all of the viable nutrients still active in the raw food, but they don't always preserve the enzymes when they make these foods into powders. So the longer it's exposed to air and all these different things, then of course a lot of that viability is going to be diminished. So you're getting only a fraction of what was once the whole entire food. But in our drops, they maintain all of this because they have the plant materials and they throw them right into that huge container and simulate the electrical storm, and they maintain the atomic orbitals to have the negatively charged ions. So a lot of times processing will do that to the powders. That'll reduce and just, you're lucky if you have any negatively charged ions left in a powdered product like that. So yeah, we have the instructions that our bodies read off of the plant DNA right in the drop so that we can, our body can make any repairs DNA at the DNA level. So yeah, that's what makes the product unique.
It also sounds like I've come across a lot of people that have seen incredible results with kidney function using our lozenges. But it looks like that the maca root in air actually maintains normal hepatic and kidney function. That's a massive statement right there, and to go on with normal lipid profiles and normal blood sugar levels. So it sounds like air might be one of those products that if your body's not functioning optimally anyway, and you've got some of these as exacerbating things going on, that you should take it every day anyway.
Oh, absolutely. Of course, we're not medical doctors. We're not trying to
Right,
prescribe or
right,
dose or, cure any
right.
disease. But when you restore the normal functioning of the cells at the microcell level where life happens, where your health is determined, then that's all we're doing is providing the DNA with the right information so that it can repair itself. And when the DNA gets repaired properly, then that means the whole body knows what to do, right? All the instructions are always there, just generating all the instructions that are going on all the time in the body. So yeah, the kidney is one of them, and we have to go to at the DNA level to repair any kidney damage.
Yes.
And the microcirculatory system and the
Yep.
oxygenation and the hormonal and the nervous system communications, all that has to be restored. These plants are so amazing. If you look at more in depth, at the detailed monograph that I produced, and look at the science, notice I have all the scientific references. So you can dive into what the scientists have done to come to all of these conclusions. And it's not just one study, it is thousands of studies that have come together and reviewed the best studies, the most credible studies, and put the best information forward. So that's what we have here. We have the best information and the best phytonutrient compounds in these botanicals. Black currant is another.
I think
Pardon
once
me?
people understand that we're dealing with something that doesn't exist outside of this company, we get, our products, because of the way they're made, allow us to get the DNA from these botanicals straight to our cells, and our body knows exactly what to do with them. And it just amazes me all the time. I mean, it's like jaw drop moments all the time. And I can't help but thank you, because every time you say something like that, my mind just goes boom. It's like, oh my goodness. So what about black currant? And then you wanted me to remind you to go back to number 7.
Yeah, okay. I know. See, this is why I'm so excited about these plants on this planet. And we have been obstructed from this information for too long, and I'm becoming more and more of a radical and getting this information out there and getting more bold in my YouTube channel, things like that, because the public deserves to know. We have to know what's in these plants and how they are utilized in the body. And I'm so happy to be doing this work for APL, I'm telling you right now. All right, so black currant is really high in the proanthocyanidins, and this is a huge classification of subclassifications and sub-subclassifications of phytonutrients. So they've been known to open up the airways in the lungs, aid asthma and other airway-related problems, disrupting the pathways of inflammatory proteins like those cytokines, those cyclooxygenases, the COX-1 and 2, and preventing all of these modulating effects of immune cell signaling that actually mobilize inflammatory actions. If the body's not nourished and the immune system isn't quite, able to recognize when to signal stopping, that's like these autoimmune diseases, the immune system doesn't know to stop attacking its own tissues. Okay, it's just lacking the information at the DNA level, and that's what these proanthocyanidins are known to do. They help disrupt all the running rampant of the free radicals that the body produces, not knowing when to stop, not realizing that the tissues are being repaired. So, but if you have these phytochemicals in these plants in the body, then the DNA will recognize that information and correct itself. Okay, and then it'll stop the inflammatory reactions. It's all about nourishing and correcting. And so anyway, all right. So they've also been demonstrated to have all this, free radical damage, protective action, which I'll explain in a moment. And then it also increases in athletic performance. Endurance trained athletes have been tested with black currant and all of its botanical ingredients, phytonutrients, and moderate intensity cycling and other athletes like high intensity repeated sprints showed to reduce the strain on the fatigue tissue. So, if you're an athlete and you've been well trained and you're well nourished and you've recuperated properly from your workouts, some of these athletes have tremendous workouts, right? And they've got to recuperate nutritionally, or they'll just get weaker and weaker and be more prone to injuries. So when you're well nourished, especially with this kind of botanical, then you can go farther and farther and go past this intensity level, and kick into this kind of deep-seated, kind of I don't know, it's just a matter of survival, right? The body kicks into survival mode and it just keeps going and going and going. You've heard of people who had all of these tremendous feats that they never knew they were able to perform when they really push themselves. And it has a lot to do with how well they are nourished as well, not just in the mind and the spirit, but also in the body. And so if you're well nourished, then you can go past the point where you ever thought you could. And who is going to go there, really? Only the extreme athletes, of course. But that's just to show you how well these botanicals have been studied.
it continues to amaze me all the time. Now we have, and I was going to answer this question and have her, because I don't think you can answer this in the time we have. Ginny has a question about how does a DNA only drop, so our lozenges, that contains no phytonutrients? And I think I know the answer to that because it does contain phytonutrients. Phenols and other compounds found in the whole plant provide the same effects as a whole plant. Can you
Okay.
talk about that?
The phytochemical compounds are so small. They're large, massive molecules as molecules go, and they're very complex molecules, and the DNA knows exactly how to take them apart and utilize every single stick and element that they're built on. We've all seen the two-dimensional renditions of what a molecule looks like, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, double bonds, and all of that. We've seen those schematics, right? But when you look at it in 3D or 4D or 5D or beyond, then they're so much more complex, and the body knows exactly how to use them. So yeah, the phytochemical compounds are small. They fit right through the cell membranes. The cell membranes recognize them immediately, allow them in, and the body goes to work to disassemble them or use them to reassemble new tissues and cells and whatnot, energy, new proteins, all that kind of thing, new hormones, all these different thousands of proteins that the body has to produce in order to function. So these are at the very basis of good health. And that's why plants are so good for us, because of these phytochemical compounds. I hope that answers your question. Turn on your mic.
Ginny, I hope that answers your question. And Mary Esther is available for a very small fee for a private consult. She really gives us a deep discount if you wanted to spend, a couple hours with her. I've done that a couple times and have just been blown away at what she's helped me with. So last question, and then I want to talk about your book and close it out because we're coming up on an hour already. Can you believe it? Which botanicals in air specifically improve physical endurance?
Okay, so we just went over them. It's the maca and
It is the maca. Okay.
The maca and the black currant. Actually, all of them, they all have, I think most of them have the proanthocyanidins. They have all these other compounds. I don't think I covered everything, but so, okay, yeah. So the lithium berry, the goji berry, wolfberry, it has things like zeaxanthin, the phenolic acid, the flavonoids, the beta carotenes, the neoxanthins, and the cryptoxanthins. These are all, and the organic acids. So they're all important for modulating all these different inflammatory reactions, protecting the immune system kind of thing. And when you remove all of those inflammation disruptions, and your hormones and your immune system is doing their job, but not in a reactive, panicked way, they're just patrolling and they're making sure everything's going smoothly kind of thing, then yeah, this is what we need to pay attention to. The lichen berry is another such botanical.
Wonderful. Well, I'd like to close it out now. We are running out of time. And guys, Mary Esther's going to be at the convention. And I know she's going to have some super, super, super good information for us. And Mary Esther also has written many books. One of them is very specific to our products, and it is very thick. Anytime I want an answer to something, I go to that book and you can find it. It goes into great detail. It's called Potent Superfoods for Lifelong True Health. There, she has it on the screen. Potent Superfoods for Lifelong True Health. It is an incredible book. I strongly recommend that everybody get, at very minimum, the digital version. I have the soft cover because I make notes all the time so that I can remember when somebody asks me a question. So Mary Esther, talk about your book and let's close it out for tonight. Everybody, thank you so much for being here.
Okay, great. Yeah, as I said, in fact, I put the link to my website. My website is finally up. That transition was killing me. But if you go to holisticchoices.com/APL, Then you'll see all of the videos that I've been doing for APL since the early 2021, and also all the PDF documents like this document that you're looking at right now. They're all there. This will be up there shortly tonight. Also, I will be putting up the monograph for the ALT, but these are the books that I've written. Now, this nutritional synergy is my nutritional system that I devised 30 years ago, and people have been getting well on it. It's been helping athletes. I mean, it's just a good, totally nourishing system. And then if you're going to be working out, eating for physical power and stamina is another very thorough rendition on how to maintain energy. You combine that with the APL products, you know, and all the other botanicals that are in this book, Potent Superfoods for Lifelong True Health. Now, this one has all of the botanicals that are in all of the drops, except for the last 2 new drops, which is why I provide the monographs on the website. And so, yeah, this is pretty much, it'll give you what phytonutrient compounds are. It's got a whole database of phytonutrients in it. It has a glossary, dictionary, you know, encyclopedia section. So if you're not familiar with the terms, I try to define them as I go along, as I'm describing each botanical in the book. But you can always look them up. Any kind of term that's, whenever I use any term at all throughout writing the book, I made note of it and made sure I add that to the encyclopedia section. There's a nutrition section in there, although not as comprehensive as the nutritional synergy book. But yeah, you can go to my website and order these books, just holisticchoices.com, books by Mary Esther. They're all listed there. And if you want more videos that are educational about your nutritional health, you can go to my YouTube channel and my Rumble channel. So everything that gets uploaded to YouTube gets automatically uploaded to Rumble. And that's pretty much it. Do you want me to still leave it up for people? I think Ruthie ran away. Are you still here, Ruth? Oh dear. All right, so any questions? We have about 6 minutes.
Mary Esther, there was one question I saw in the chat. I'm going to repost it here so you can read it. Are you able to answer that question for us?
Okay, let's see. Let me look at the chat here. And who was it from?
It says, so it would, so make someone who is already an easy bleeder have more issues with bleeding easier.
Okay, so the flavonoid compounds in these botanicals help build strong and flexible blood vessels so that you're not prone to, your cells are not prone to injury. Cells, therefore tissues. So definitely, you know, that would actually help and build strong and flexible blood vessels.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I think Ruth might be texting me. Let's see if that's her. I guess she just got cut off, right?
Yeah, she did say she's back on now, though.
Oh,
but
great.
Maybe her volume's not working. But I did make it so that anyone can unmute. If you have a quick question, feel free to ask Mary Esther. We have like a couple minutes.
Yeah, Mary.
She's back.
Mary,
Yes.
this is Michael Hunter in Northern Idaho. I have a question regarding the glutathione. I have a
Hi,
friend in
Michael.
Hawaii that has a nanowized version, and she's been taught that unless the glutathione is nanowized, the body cannot absorb it. How do I respond to that?
Okay. I have looked into that very thing, and I still don't trust it because it's a very unnatural way for the body to be forced to absorb such a huge molecule. The body will make it itself when it's properly nourished, properly oxygenated, properly hydrated, you know, all of that. And that's just one of the multiple trillions of proteins that the body will make under the best circumstances. Okay, and it will find a way if the body determines, if the DNA instructions determine that the glutathione is needed. Of course it's needed. It's a very common protein that's all over the body all the time. So I'm pretty sure that the body is always making this particular molecule. It just can't be injected. It just can't be swallowed. It has to be built in from the DNA on outward. And as far as the nanoparticles go, I think the jury is still out on how nanotechnologies are being made to enter the body. I don't think there's enough safety, kind of research out there to determine that. And I have actually rejected when someone approached me with a product like that.
Amen.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Michael.
Can I
We have
add one?
another. Go ahead, Michael.
I just wanted to remind everybody that the air special is effective today. Buy 2, get 2 free.
Yeah, we're gonna close out with that.
All right.
Thank you. Mary Esther, we got another question, and this will be the last one. Would this help someone who has lots of phlegm break down and get rid of it?
Yes. Because of the enzyme actions that are in these plants, they are viable, they are live. The more raw foods, the more raw food enzymes you have in your diet, the less of the phlegm you'll have, the less of the mucus production, which is produced everywhere in the body. That's just a protection that will help protect the cells against a lot of these inflammatory reactions. But they happen to, if you've got too much of this mucoidal, material forming all over the body, then you're going to have obstructions and inflammation reactions. So absolutely.
Perfect. What a call. Like I said,
hello.
Yes, Ray.
Please, can you answer one question for me, please?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, I have arthritis in my hip, and everything I've tried, many different things, no relief. And I heard the ice might be something that can work on my hip.
Yes, ice is full of the soothing type of botanicals that will calm down a lot of the inflammatory reactions that cause pain. But it's you have to address the root cause of the arthritis. What kind of arthritis is it? Osteoarthritis or joint arthritis?
As far as I know, it's joint arthritis.
Okay, so it's a matter of rebuilding the joints, getting enough protein, a quality protein on a regular basis, and a little bit of movement stimulation if you're unable to exercise, to just get some blood flow and oxygen in there, stay hydrated, stay away from everything except for chemically pure water, which is the high water content foods, and the bottled spring water. Every other water is not going to hydrate and deliver the oxygen and nutrients that you need. So it's a matter of bringing nutrients and improving the circulation to those areas, but also providing the materials that the cells need to regenerate themselves and rebuild themselves. So just pay attention to the diet. Stay away from all of the refined foods, all the junk foods out there. They contribute to problems like this. They actually clog things and cause the body to produce all these inflammatory reactions. So you want foods that are real, that are whole, and these drops are very unique. They still have that life in them.
Absolutely.
What do you recommend? What do you recommend outside of the ice?
Slide stop, ice.
Can I answer that?
There's a lot of them, guy. And Ray, here's what I'll say, because we've got to get off of here. We got to respect Mary Esther's time. Is get back with the person that sponsored you, and you can go to Mary Esther's site, and those two, the people that sponsored you, can put you in touch with somebody that can really help you. But yes, you see a lot of people saying slide, stop, and relax. That's helped everybody here with arthritis, myself included. And I'm not trying to cut you off, Ray. I apologize. We just have to be real respectful. And I hope, I'm going to close with this. I hope, Ray, that you're coming to the convention, and everybody else on here. You'll be able to shake Mary Esther's hand. Forget that, right? Joe Bell, we hug Mary Esther, and she is incredible. She's going to be there. I know she loves being interactive with people, and she takes time. She's so loving and so caring, and takes time to answer everybody's questions. I truly do love her from the bottom of my heart, just as much as I love these lozenges, because they have done so much for myself and my family. Mary Esther, I just don't know how to thank you enough for the information that you share with us on these calls. This is probably one of the most well-received, in fact, I'm going to say it, the most well-received call in the field that we have, because you break things down for people so that we can get to know what our lozenges can do for our bodies and the bodies of those that we are touching their lives as well. So from all of us to all of you, thank you. Everybody get your ticket for convention. We want to, sorry about that, my husband's playing with the lights. We want to see you and we want to hug you too at convention. This was another phenomenal Behind the Science with Mary Esther Gilbert. I'm Ruth Mayne saying thank you so much. Everyone have a wonderful week, and we'll see you in 3.5 weeks in Houston, Texas. Goodbye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Good night, everyone. See you all in Texas.
Thank you.